Hello, and welcome to another episode of XJW's. I'm Nope,
I'm V.
and today we're going to talk about the whole 1914 thing.
Thing.
Thing. So just as a quick rundown, what is 1914? Why is it so relevant to Jehovah's Witnesses?
Apparently, it's the year that God's kingdom was on earth and Jesus became king and all that.
So it's kind of the year that it all, shit just went up.
It all kicked off, yeah, basically.
Whoa. And I suppose
apparently Satan's demons were kicked out of heaven and put down on earth that year. Something like that.
So it all went off. I suppose it's quite relevant, and I suppose the reason why Jehovah's Witnesses love the whole 1914 thing, because the World War One started around that year, and it I suppose it gives them kind of an evidence. Proof.
Yeah, that's right. It kind of it's almost like, because they predicted it before it happened, and they was like, see, we told you that it was like the end times. Not like war never started before 1914 anyway. Exactly, but that's their whole point behind that.
So you're about to tell me how they came up with this date then. So how did the prophecy started? Because
they had to work it out, didn't they?
Yeah.
Before. So anyway, so I went to the jw.org website and I looked up 1914, and it came up with what does in the book, the publication, what does the Bible really teach book, the yellow one, and in the appendix it's 1914, a significant year in Bible prophecy. You can look this up yourself.
Okay, so what was the book called again?
What does the Bible really teach?
So what does the Bible really teach?
And it's got really in italics.
What does it
so
really
teach? Yeah.
Really? Gonna have to lean back and say it at the same time. Really teach. Okay, so what does it tell? What does it say us then about 1914?
Okay, a quick rundown on this. So first of all, it talks about 7 times, which is in Daniel 4:10-6. It mentions the phrase 7 times there. So what are 7 times? So you have to then skip to the publication then tells us to go to Revelation 12:6-4, where it tells us.
Let me just get my Bible.
Okay, go on. Quick. Forward. There. Okay, then it tells us 3.5 times is the equivalent to 1,260 days. So 3.5 times 2 is 7.
Wait.
Yeah.
It just says 3.5 times is equivalent to.
That's what 3.5 times mean.
Okay, we're just trusting that.
That's what. How can you not trust the Bible?
Okay. So we just.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, read it.
It says, "And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she would be, where she has a place prepared by God, and where they would feed her for 1,260 days."
Okay.
So
there's a number there. And so they thought, there's a number there. That must be relevant. Okay.
Yeah, that is the actual quote of that 12. Oh, and 14. Sorry, hold on.
Oh, 2 sets of numbers.
Yeah.
Ooh. But now it must definitely mean double something.
So 12 verse 14 says,
okay.
"But the 2 wings of the great eagle were given to the woman, so that she might fly into the wilderness to her place, where she is to be fed for a time, and times half a time away from them." Service of the servant.
Okay.
So they got, was fed for a time and times and half a time. That's where they get time and times and half a time. That's where they get it from. But if they say times, that could be more than 2, surely.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're just trusting what this publication says.
Cool.
Because it is the damn prophecy. And then, so what do we get to? So 3.5 times is 1,260. Multiplied by 2 becomes 2,520. So 2,520 days.
Right.
So, right. So how do you get from days to years now? So then you have to skip back, sorry, to Numbers 14 verse 34.
Right. Wait, why do you have to skip back?
Just because the book says so.
Oh, okay.
That's the only reason.
I'm sorry for questioning that.
Yeah, just because of that. And so you go back to Numbers 14:34.
It must mean something because it's numbers. As well.
Numbers, yeah.
Ooh.
And it tells you there in this publication that a day for a year, so 2,520 days is actually 2,520 years, just because it says it in numbers. And what does numbers actually tell us? Shall we have a look? It says, according to the number of days that you spied out the land, 40 days, a day for a year, you will answer for your errors, 40 years, for you will know what it means to oppose me. So obviously that tells you that 2,520 days is actually 2,520 years. Obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. So, and that's what you get. And then you add, wherever it tells you to add it, 2,520 years from the fall of Babylon, which according to the JWs was 607 BC. But that
that's another story.
That's debatable. That is very debatable, and that's where you get all this.
We'll just go with it for argument's sake.
We'll go with it because the rest of the evidence is so convincing.
Yeah, and it tells us to add as well for, like you said.
Oh yeah,
for no
exactly.
reason.
Where does it tell us to add?
Even though we went backwards into the Bible, so you think maybe subtract?
Actually, that's a very good point.
I mean, if we're going by logic,
I think we should go with the square root of it.
Yeah, divide. So we'll just cut the Bible half, 2.5 times. This is ridiculous. Okay, so you have to add it. So once you add it, what happens? Then
you add from the fall of Babylon, 607. You add forward 2,520 years, and it comes to 1914.
Oh, that's exhausting.
It is very exhausting. I've run out of breath.
So that's where they get 1914 from.
Yeah.
That's how they get it.
That's the stupid method they chose. I bet you a lot of people didn't actually know about this.
Well, I'm going to throw a spanner in the works.
What?
Because there is something that a lot of people don't know either.
What's that then?
Well, I've done my own research on 1914.
Did you?
I did my own research on 1914. I know, believable as it is.
And what's that
then? What if? Have you ever? Well, actually, let me just put a name out there. Let me just name drop someone. Have you ever heard of a guy called Charles Taze Russell?
Who?
Who is he? Well, go on and explain. Seeing as you were so sarcastic about it.
No, he's the founder of the religion.
Yeah. We were just being ironic. For entertainment purposes. Of course, Charles Taze Russell. And if I said to you, Charles Taze Russell got his dates by measuring some steps around a pyramid, what would you say?
I'd say, shut up. Give me some evidence.
Well, according to a publication called Thy Kingdom Come, Volume 3, you've probably heard of it. That is exactly what happened. He got his calculations by measuring an ascending passage. He was well into pyramidology, if you didn't know, those that are listening. And he actually came up with a different date. Now, this is a whole another subject on its own. The date 1914 wasn't always the original date that the Jehovah's Witnesses had come up with to signify the end of times. In fact, they also predicted that they also had these dates that predicted the end of the world. But 1914 certainly wasn't the first date that they had come up with. Now, according to this, the Thy Kingdom Come edition 1897. So the edition that was released in 1897. He measured the steps, measurement of something like 3,416 inches. In fact, quote, symbolising 3,416 years. Of course, why not?
And what Bible verse is that?
Yeah,
inch for a year, an inch for a year.
The Bible verse about pyramids, of course.
Yeah, because the Egyptian used inches to measure their pyramid.
Yeah, exactly. So the good bit of British empiring there. The calculation then comes up with the date 1874, according to the 1897 edition of Thy Kingdom Comes here, Volume 3. Now the date 1874, to me, does not sound like 1914. Okay, but then they actually come up with the date in another edition of Thy Kingdom Come. So it was actually it's actually the date 1915 he comes up with. The date changes. Sorry, the inches change from 3,416 to 3,457. So then it signifies 3,457 years. Comes up with the date 1542. The calculation then comes to 1915, not 14, 1915, and it looks like they just went with 1914 because it's like, oh yeah, that's when the war started. It was 1915. It was close enough. Yeah, we'll go with that one, which is fine. So in 19 years, so from 1897 to 1916. When the next edition was publicated, well, I think
2 years afterwards.
Yeah, it grew 41 inches. Can you believe it?
Got some Viagra.
Yeah, yeah, that's what happens when you get older. You need a bit of help. So there you go. And strangely enough, that edition, the 1897 edition, which gives the date 1874, is not available anymore.
Something fishy going on there, isn't it?
Yeah. Now I'll try and put some pictures up of the pyramid. Yeah, he actually has a cross section of a pyramid, and he has notes around where it says like this is the measurement, the steps and stuff like that. So that's actually where he got his dates from.
I think you should put a link up as well if you can.
I can't do that. That's too much technological.
I'll put it in the description.
Yeah. No, I can definitely do that. That's fine. Yeah, I'll put a link up, and then you can see, and I'll try and put a picture up as well, so you can see that's where he gets it. So all that you said before.
That I'm more convinced by that. Yeah, I'm more convinced by
pyramidology.
Pyramid. Yeah. So yeah, I'll see you in the Kingdom Hall.